Live from the podcast rooms in Glasgow, it's all about the Gers with Ricki Neill, Derek Ferguson and Charlie Miller.
Hello and welcome to All About the Gers. It's myself, Ricki Neill, joined by Charlie and Derek. And thanks to our sponsors, DB Dental Care, SSAFA, the Armed Forces Charity, Park Construction and Plant Hire, Plugged In Business Solutions. How you doing, guys? All right?
All right, Doc.
Bang average.
What have you been up to?
Watching the Grandmains. Aye. Never. Try to think what I was. Grandmains. All weekend, and that keeps you busy, doesn't it? Keeps you on your toes.
Yourself, Charlie, any gigs that we
I had
can?
a gig with Durante in the 347 in Rutherglen.
How'd that go?
It was a good night. Really enjoyed it, and Durante had a few sherbets with me, so it was a good wee night.
That's not like him, is it?
That was good. It was, and then I had games on Sunday with the academy.
And I'm sure you would have had a few sherbets
No.
as well.
No,
Come on.
I did.
Aye, well.
No, then the kids had games on Sunday for the
you-
academy, so I didn't even get. I've seen the game in Rutherglen, but I didn't go to the game.
Anyway.
How about you? You're always asking us. How are you?
Do you know, actually,
What have you been up to?
I took last week off, and then on Friday I had to go and do a wee job down south, down in a place called Seaham. It's near Durham.
All right.
It
Beautiful place, Durham.
Durham was nice.
was really nice, so it was. So we ended up staying the night and went to see a wee live band in a pub.
Yeah,
It's really good, really good. So it was. In
Nice.
fact, see when I was doing that, I went into a wee chippy, right? And just
A wee chippy.
a wee
Yeah,
chippy.
right.
You always need to get a chippy at the seaside, didn't you? So I just got a bag of chips. There's a wee Indian guy, and he says, and I thought he said, "Do you want butter on that?" He said, "Do you want batter on that?" And what they do is they sprinkle, see all the bits of the kind of batter off the fish, they sprinkle it on top of the chips. It's brilliant, by the way.
Right.
Mm.
Never had that.
Heart attack waiting to
It's
happen.
mega greasy right enough, but
Uh-huh.
do you know I ended up not even having any dinner because I was totally full up with batter and chips.
Bet you
Happy
are, that
days.
sounds amazing.
So, they need to start doing
I
up here.
I like that.
Durham, aye. Royal, I've spent about 3 months in a hotel down there. Royal County when I was at Sunderland.
Aye.
That was lovely.
What's Sunderland like, by the way? Because I was going to stay there.
Oh, well, for nightlife. Oh, it's mad.
But a place because it's got a beach and all that.
Oh, it's right down. It's right by the sea.
Aye.
So it is. It's a lovely place, Sunderland.
Is it?
That's what you make it, innit? You know, people moan about it, but like anything else, what matters is the people. Brilliant people down there.
Aye.
So there. Top drawer.
We've been doing. I stayed in Middlesbrough one time. That's kind of run down now. You've been
Aye.
there, Charlie?
No.
I
It's
thought
an
you.
industrial estate, isn't
Aye,
it? Industrial.
it's good industrial area.
Aye.
It's
Good
kinda-
people, but
Aye, but
So
it's
the-
strange enough, everywhere shuts at 4 o'clock down there on a Friday, like all the shops and that. So it's
Is
like a
it?
ghost town, aye. And when I turned up at the hotel, it was as if it was all locked up. It turns out you get a wee key code and your keys are in a wee box.
right.
And you just go up to your room yourself, so there's no reception or anything.
That's not so bad, is it?
But no, it was good. Anyway,
Sounds amazing. The batter and chips.
batter and chips, I know, I'd go back just for that. Aye, so good weekend, but last week against Dundee, where did it all go wrong, Charlie?
Last week against Dundee was the worst performance I've seen. And I didn't see the Ross County game because we had a game.
Right.
And I just thought, we're not going to be able to score any goals against Hearts. I just couldn't see where we were going to score for. Again, I don't know what Clement was saying, that we'd all the chances we should have won the game. I thought it was a terrible, terrible performance. We didn't look like scoring. I think we'd maybe one for Seaman in the first half, a couple of weak kind of Goldson kind of knockdowns, and then one Dessers kind of second half shot that the goalie saved, tips out of the bar, makes a kind of melee it. But I thought that was it. That's all we had. And I thought it was a terrible start to the game. We just won the at it for the beginning.
Aye. Too many players well below par. What
it
you
was
expect?
horrible.
You expected a reaction after that county game. We certainly never got it. I get where the manager's coming for, Charlie, because obviously the semi coming up, he's got to keep them upbeat. Got to keep them well. But listen, there was quite a few of them that underperformed big time. But it was a lack of possession of the ball that we had in and around their area. Not one time. I'm trying to recall that did we pin them back. We didn't create enough chances. And basically it wasn't good enough. And we knew, I said to you last week, they've got some decent players. But, you know who their better players are. So as an individual, as a collective, I've touched on this before, you get up against your opponent, you don't allow him to play. And at times, wee boy McCowan, he looked really good because he was allowed to. to play. But I expected a better reaction what we got, and it was so poor.
It was the worst I've seen this season. As I said, I didn't see the Ross County game, but at least we kind of missed some clear-cut chances in that game. I know had a few chances she scored, but Wednesday night was just the worst I've seen. It was, you could have sat there for another 4 hours and not scored a goal. It was that's how bad it was. It was really upsetting to watch, and a lot of the fans would they let the team know,
and quite rightly so, because these guys pay a lot of money. It's a midweek game. They're travelling up there, and the one thing you expect is 100% effort. And you're kind of looking at that, and you're thinking, are they at full tilt? I'm not so sure. So the fans were quite right to vent their anger, because there's standards, and when you cross that white line, I mean, getting 100%, that's a given.
Aye.
And to
just
me, it didn't look like it. Some of them get through the motions.
That's just the norm. You get 100%, you get close to people, in their faces, whatever. But
And play, have a wee bit of balls about you.
you have games like that. But obviously the Ross County one, I thought that was probably going to be it. Right, okay, we've given them our back, and then I'm thinking, how are we going to get up for this game on Sunday? And I understand Clement saying that he thought he should have won the game and all that, and he was trying to keep the players on his side for Sunday because it was a massive game. But it was a totally different game on Sunday. The pitch was immaculate. Down to my mate Rob White, he works there now. Used to work at Murray Park, Auchenhowie, sorry. And he says it's down to him. But no, you can see they started well. They were on the front foot early doors, and it was a totally different start to a game. And it was the first 20 minutes was very good the way they started, and that's where you want them to start every time. And then the Essers looked done very well.
See, last week, obviously, we done our predictions and we got them totally wrong. But we also spoke about people like the pressure and people bottling and things like that. And I was talking to a few people, and they were saying the difference between Rangers and Celtic now is Celtic have got winners in the team already, but Rangers basically, we've not won anything for a while.
They've got a few that have been there and done it before. And when the pressure comes on, they stand up to that. They produce the goods. So that's a question mark's been posed at us at the minute. In the two games, we're talking about the Ross County, and now we're talking about the Dundee. You just felt badly let down, with the performances and the mentality going into the games, because I didn't see, and this is we go back to this Dundee game, because we didn't press them back for large periods of the game. And you would expect a Rangers side desperate to get a win, to be able to do that against a Dundee side. And this is not having a go at Dundee. Dundee, top six, as we know, some good players, decent wee team, having a good season. But what we've got at our disposal, we should be winning that game, and we should be winning it pretty comfortably. So then that's why you start to look at other sides of it, the mentality. Do they fancy it? Can you handle it? The attitude. So there was question marks. There were quite a few of them.
Because not normally in a game you'll maybe get one or two players that aren't at their
Wednesday
best.
Wednesday was everybody. Wednesday was just poor all round. It was just so disappointing watching it, because you're trying to kick your ball for them. You're like, what's happening here? Or kick somebody for them, or just do something.
Even a lineup was questionable as well. I thought there should have been changes made. The manager chose to stick with a few of them. So he's got to, I don't know if blame's the right word, but you've got to, he picks a team. He obviously thought they were going to go out and produce the goods, but there was just far too many of them. We're probably going to touch about him. Goldson as well. Obviously we learned later that we think Balogun, there was a wee kind of illness there.
That's right.
But you can just see Goldson, and it's horrible, to see somebody that all of a sudden looks like an old man. So if Clement was trying to give him a rest, it's unfortunate they had to put him in again. But it was quite scary when you watched.
Do you think it was a rest he was trying to give him, or is it he's putting him out because he's not been playing good?
I think
a bit of both, innit?
Aye, but we've known this for the past 5-6 weeks, that he's looked nowhere near what he was before. Then you start to think, is that injury taking its toll? Is it the age? Is it the number of games? Is it that he just needs a break because he plays a hell of a lot of football? But he just looked old to me, and I hate saying that because it's horrible, because all of a sudden as a football player sometimes that happens to you. You've just not got the legs or the mobility to get about the park, and it looked like that night.
I think as well, the boy Bakayoko, he just buffs them. He buffs for centre backs around night. They couldn't just. I don't like.
Goldson never won a ball in there.
Well, Balogun and Sunday won every single header practically, and Goldson didn't win one in midweek. I think Suter won maybe one or two, but the big boy was just rough.
Bakayoko,
was getting they won the one in front, one go and win it, and one just come in behind, go and win the bloody ball. He's a strong boy, I get that, but they're big centre backs are supposed to fear nobody that now big centre forwards. So it's been disappointing. I don't know if Goldson looks as if he's lost a yard. Maybe two, unfortunately. And I hope that's just down to, as Derek says, maybe playing too many games. They had the injury, he was out for a few months and he's played practically every single game. Maybe it's caught up with him a wee bit because he didn't have maybe a wee pre-season to get back because he was out for a few months. But Balogun was definitely, it was good to see him because he's quick, he recovers well when he has to somebody's in behind him. And he doesn't try and, he doesn't think he's better than what he is. He doesn't just, he puts the ball to play and that's it. He knows that and
we're not here to shoot him down in flames. We're just trying to be honest, give an honest assessment on the last 5-6 weeks, certainly on that game. But listen, he's got a part to play in the run into the season, and I just think it was crying out for him to be took out for a game or two, even for his sake as well, because he knows. You can tell he knows he's not playing well.
It's not like him. You know what I mean?
Because he's been excellent for his early piece.
I think the past maybe 2-3 games he's looked like he's lost a bit of confidence, but that's been like slack passes and things like that.
But that comes with because he can't get there. I mean, that up against Baba Yako, how you pronounce it, that was his game, that physicality getting up against him. And he lost practically every ball that was put forward. And there was one, it was galling to watch it. There was one just played in behind him. He turns to sprint and it looked as if he was
towing a caravan.
Aye.
It's just so he needs listen, give him a wee breather, let him a week or two, even clear the head because the mind can get cloudy as well, and physically. So, but we'll need him because he will play a part.
Well, we spoke about it last week. Obviously, we were saying maybe we should be dropping him, but then I've seen people now saying. Because Suter wasn't he the best at the weekend either?
He'd 15 minutes, but he was absolutely he'd gone.
I mean, but
fuck.
What do you think? What do you think about Goldson and Balogun?
But Suter thought he was a Hearts player again.
Honestly,
Suter did for 15 minutes.
And what happened?
Passing it Hearts, aye.
And then it get done against you that one where it gets done on the line with the ball and say just putting it out. Goals. Balogun just puts that out of the park. Big John's obviously thinks he has a good foot up player, big Suter, but. There, you can't get caught like that because that should have been really one each. The boys, if they squares it properly, you know.
See when you're having that wee period, just do it simple. Don't try to be too clever. Just go and win the ball and pass it to the first. But even if he's 2-3 yards away, just pass it to a blue jersey. But for that 15-minute spell, man, I was, Jesus God, man.
I've just seen a good comment come up there. UDF Goldson is like the All About Gers podcast, absolutely world class 1 week, then goes missing for weeks.
That's Ricki and Derek's fault.
That's it. Sorry about that, but that's us back now. Sorry, that's caught me off now.
No, but it was but big Suter. He did a 15-20 minutes of madness.
So what do you think about Goldson and Balogun? Is there?
I still prefer. I think Suter has to play. I think Suter's probably although he did have that wee bit of madness, I still think he's probably the best centre back at the moment.
The only fear he gives me is
if somebody spiked his drink or something. You go with somebody and all of a sudden he's all over.
That's what happens when I go to used to.
And you're going, what's I'm even shouting him, John, what are you doing?
I hate it. The only thing I don't like about him is when he goes in one of the mad runs and beats about 4 players and just stops dead because he loses the ball.
But he's capable.
Then he's out of position.
I think he's got decent use of the ball, hasn't he? And I sometimes like him when he breaks the lines, when he goes forward, into that midfield area, and he creates a wee overload, and he can play a pass. But
just at times he gets too carried away.
But when you're having one of the periods, John, listen, just keep it simple, mate. That's it. Get back to basics.
I'm going to put up a comment for Alex Kelly because he always gives good stats and things like that. So, what's he saying? Hi lads, Clement made some strong decisions for the benefit of the team. The dressing room for himself with both the players and support. Balogun deserves to stay in the team. We need Ridvan back as soon as possible to push Sterling in the midfield. Hoping Sam isn't too bad. We need Cortez and Danilo back before the end of the season. Well, I was saying to the guys earlier on, I seen that See, my posted on his Instagram as if he's hoping to be back for the final.
Good.
Well, I think it's a no-brainer to play Sterling in the middle of the park, especially at Dundee. I was really surprised. I know Ben Davies isn't a natural left back, but I would have rather had him there and put Sterling in the middle of the park. He wins his tackles. He gets his. I keep on saying this every week, but he wins his tackles. He gets us forward with his power, and he gets us into good situations. At left back, he does well. Don't get me wrong at left back, but it's no natural for him. And I think Ben Davies just sitting there, the three guys, as I said the other week, and letting Tav bomb on, Sterling in middle, Sterling on the right hand side next to Tav, and just kind of swap over each other. I think that's probably a better way to go. But Clement sees him every day in training, so he knows better. But for me, at the moment, Sterling is definitely a midfield player.
Good to see Tav back to the standards that's required. But the decisions, dropping Goldson and Silva, it had to be done because the boy Silva, just a young fella, obviously that with that price tag, is that a burden? It kind of looks like it, but he's got to show a lot better than what he has so far with us. I'm trying to think, the number of games that he's played, I can't even think back to one of the games and coming away and going, oh, he was outstanding. I was just expecting so much more.
I've been expecting much more. I still think he's a good player. I really think he's a good player. I think
I'm starting to doubt that now, Charlie. If I'm honest with you,
technically very good. And I think he's more a number 10. But
I'm trying to sort his feet out.
No, I know.
For the Dessers,
I know.
squaring it.
I know. It was. See if you Dessers and 3-0, you would be strangling Silver. But I think there's definitely a player there. We know that. But the last 4 or 5 weeks is kind of it's not went well for him.
See, the worry for me is, right, see if Clement can't get the best out of him or more out of them than what he's given us. That's a real worry because that's what Clement's been brilliant at with that squad. He gets the best out of them. So he has, and I just watch that boy and I keep, I think we're like a lot of fans, we keep waiting and just take night to explode onto the scene and do something absolutely brilliant, and I just don't see it.
See, just going back to Sterling, would you like to see him in a settled position? Because he's been there everywhere, hasn't he?
Yes, as Alex said, we want Yilmaz back into left back, but we need Sterling in the middle of the park. He's got some engine on him. He's a man mountain, and we know what we're getting for him.
I just want to give a wee shout out to Woody Mart. Hi lads, West Brom fan here, big Willie Johnson fan, loves to watch Rangers in the box too. Good luck for the rest of the season. Willie Johnson's some man, isn't he?
Willie Johnson is about 5 foot nothing now.
Brilliant guy.
Willie Johnson, me bud's the best, man.
So funny, and I was over in Ventura with him last year, him and Steenie. Oh, some laugh.
Two of them are brilliant.
And it's so down to earth, absolute icons of the game.
In fact,
see,
as we're talking about icons, someone actually posted last week asking, like, for you two, who were your idols growing up? Like Rangers players.
Says it, David.
I love Maradona, man. I just
worldwide.
Anything now? Give us worldwide and Rangers.
God Almighty, that's a good question because I go back to that. You go back to the '78 World Cup. I love that Argentina side. Obviously, Maradona wasn't in that side. That team, Gentili and all these.
Gentili.
Kempes. No, Kempes. Sorry, Mario Kempes.
Gentili was Italy.
The tango ball. I remember that the '78 World Cup. That's what made me. You kind of fall in love with football. But when Maradona was on the scene, I even remember him being at Hampden. As a 16-year-old, he was outstanding. Wasn't he? He was incredible to watch.
I asked a question the other week. Who was the only team? Who's the only team to wear an Adidas strip in that World Cup?
Go on.
Well, you'd think Germany, wouldn't you? Somebody asked me that the other week, and it was Argentina because Kempes had the 3 stripes done. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's true, but I would have assumed that Adidas would have been Germany's strip then. But a guy said that to me the other week. Remember who it was? But
Maradona's a great shout because
I love Maradona.
Who was your Rangers one?
Durante.
I also was. There you go.
You should know that.
I know. No, you've told me that before. Actually,
just for what he came back for as well. Honestly, it was an unbelievable thing he came back for, and he was such a great football player.
Is he still watching the podcast?
I don't know. I'm glad they turned up.
He was playing golf.
He was ringing me up for a week saying that he's not coming. He's definitely not coming, and then an hour before he's supposed to come, he says, I need picked up at Turnberry. And I'm like, you're joking me. And then he's outside the place. And he's like, you're a dick. He's a great guy. I love him to bits.
Brilliant.
Excuse my English, sorry.
That's all right. Better performance on Sunday for Rangers. It's everything that we've not been the past 2-3 weeks with his aggression, everything.
The start of the game,
everything.
It was the start of the game. It was totally different for the past three, or the past 3 games. So that makes some difference as well. I know. Get the ball away from our goal as soon as possible and just stay in the other team's half for 5 minutes and attack here. This all came for the Motherwell game, because that's what happened in the Motherwell game. First 5 minutes, we couldn't get to the right back area. And then we lost the game. The game went flat.
We had legs on the side. That's with a bit of pace. Obviously, Balogun at the back.
Yep.
Sima starting as well. I think that threw them as well, because I think with them playing the boy Vargas and Forrest, I think I'm sure they thought we were still going to start with Goldson, and they were going to try and exploit that. So with that pace of Balogun coming in. But you're right, we turned up. You know, Tav looked every inch the captain, every inch the player that we need to see for now to the end of the season. I thought Balogun was excellent.
Cantwell done well. Cantwell played well.
Cantwell was, tell you what, the amount of times he got on, you'd have appreciated that. He got on the half turn, he found the wee pockets of spaces was brilliant. I was looking at Beningame and the wee boy Devlin as well. Now, as a centre midfielder, you're always having an eye out for who's playing like that number 10 role. But I don't know if it was maybe kind of them switching off, or it was Cantwell being that switched on and clever. But obviously, you want to go, I think it was Cantwell. But
it was just getting into wee pockets that he need the ball, and he was getting into good areas. And you want your kind of number 10s to play. That's what you want.
And of course, we're man. The hokey cokey man, the Marmite man. You don't know. We don't know to love him, or I'm not going to say hate him, but it just frustrates you sometimes.
That's actually the perfect thing with Marmite.
Marmite, innit? You love it.
Because he could have scored right away as well.
He could have hit 5 or 6.
I know. And like everybody, we've even says it. You know, you go out and gaze at everything, and so you should, because that's a requirement. That's a given. But you just think, and he has got better for the start of the season, and because the amount of times he was making stupid runs and getting caught offside was frustrating the life out of me. Right, so I think there's been a wee bit of work done with him. So his runs are a wee bit more astute, a wee bit more clever. But it's that in front of goals at times we don't know.
I think sometimes even he's got too much time to think about what he's going to do.
I don't know, because they two at Ross County, Charlie, they should have been banged in the back.
We can't take away his energy and his enthusiasm for wanting to win.
His power.
But I think we found out he's a left footer now, because he's got to score the second one as well. And then
he took too many touches, didn't he?
And then it's come back to him, and then he's scored up his left peg again. The two of them are right good finishes. The first one especially, he's done really well there. Great wee ball with Cantwell. But I think we found out he's a left footer.
Just going back to Cantwell, Paul McCorrickle saying, Derek and Charlie, would you like to have played in the same team as Cantwell?
I don't know if they'd get in. Maybe one of
your team would have gotten in any teams, actually.
So there, I know. Listen, I like him because the guy's got ability. Of course he has, but what he gives you as well, and it's a little bit like Dessers. I like his energy. I think he gives you 100%. And does he make mistakes sometimes? Of course, everybody makes mistakes, but I just like his honesty.
But I think he makes mistakes, Derek, when he kind of starts trying to be a wee sand dancer.
Well, I was going to come on that, because anybody that wears the kind of wee daft bandana thing.
You'd want on in Blackpool last year, you know?
No, fucking, you kidding me on, by the way. But anyway, I just like him in terms of any time I watch him, I think he loves playing for Rangers. That's what I'm trying to say. He goes on to that part and he wants to go on the ball. He doesn't shirk anything. He doesn't hide. Sometimes he doesn't have the greatest games in the world, but you know what you're going to get with him. And at times he can produce a wee bit of magic. And I thought there was one that annoyed me. I think he ran it with McCausland one time. McCausland picks the ball up, a wide error. I'm thinking, leave him 1v1, let him do a wee dip with the shoulder and deliver, and he just runs straight at into that space, dragging players in there. So just sometimes a wee bit more thought to his game, but there's a lot I like about Cantwell.
We've got to love our goalie again, because he had 2 great saves again.
Amazing.
Two great saves again.
There's Alex Kelly on his Holland was sponsored by Adidas in 1978, but only had 2 stripes.
That's amazing with the Germany.
Maybe that's my Casmilk Adidas.
That's what we used to get when I was at school. Adidas 4 stripe and all that.
Adidas 2 stripe.
Woolworths. Remember Woolworths?
Holland
Do you
were
remember?
nil responsible. I remember Woolworths. Holland were nil responsible for Adidas. That was nil Adidas when I was away.
So after watching the game Sunday, obviously we've seen Shanklin. He didn't really do much. Do you think he is a signing?
Good football
for
player,
next year. I know he is good, but do you think he's good enough for Rangers?
I would rather have Miovski. I know Miovski's going to be more expensive. I'd rather have Miovski.
I'd rather have a two of them.
I'd like to have a two of them, 100%. But I really like Miovski. I like Shanklin because I think he was at the box maybe too much on Sunday, which was good for us. And I don't think he was getting anything with the big Balogun or Suter aerial wise.
I think that was part of him dropping in deeper. Vargas and Forrest were going to make the runs, but I think you're right. He dropped in a wee bit too deep at times. He's
put a great one for the one that Butland
terrific
saves.
ball by. It was just offside, right enough, but he has to save it. He doesn't know that. I just like Shanklin. I think Shanklin's he's a good football player, well rounded, and by the way, he can finish. That's it, and he scores all different types of goals.
And he's a Rangers fan and all, which I always think helps.
Yeah.
There's somebody slagging you, Derek.
Slag away, go on.
Hugson's saying, Derek, speaking of Cantwell's here, you had a fine mullet back in the day.
I know, where did that go?
Same place as mine.
I know. Man, when did you lose? You know.
Do you know what I done? See, when I used to work, when I used to work in the printing trade, I think I was about 22, 23, right? And I was just working away, and I kind of bent over and one of my...
You bent over?
Your hair caught in the shredder.
And one of my mates, Craig, said to me, "You're going to be a bit thin and talk, Ricky." And I was like, "Fuck, am I?" And I didn't realise he was only kidding on.
Were you worried about it?
Aye, but see what I done?
Right,
it was the same time that Beckham shaved his hair off. So see that night, I just went, "Oh, fuck it, so I shaved it off."
And that's what you should do. If you feel if you're starting to go a wee bit bald, the guys out there, fucking just rip it off, get it off. But listen, they're on to their hair transplants and all that these days, so you can go to Turkey and get it for $4,000.
I think that looks agony, by the way.
Well, listen, you're dealt with the cards. You're dealt. Just go on with it.
No, Charlie's got a fine head of hair.
I know. Charlie's got, and he's got that kind of lovely, that kind of skin, that darkish skin. Takes a good tan.
Takes a good tan.
Dark skin, you said.
See, now you're looking a wee bit white, then. Are you all right?
I know, you better. I've been away on holiday for ages, so Dubai was good 6 weeks ago, wasn't it?
I forgot you were.
Well, you wouldn't go to Dubai now, would you?
I know.
You're still in it. Floods and all that.
I still would go to Dubai.
Go anywhere, wouldn't you?
Right, looking at the fixtures coming up, obviously we've got St Mirren this weekend.
Right.
Do you think we can do it? Because we've got, is it 5 more games?
Do we think we need to?
5 more games. We just need to win 5 games and we win.
It's no think. It's just going there. You know, and said to you that St Mirren side are a well organised side, a fit side, and we need to be on it. We need to be at it on Sunday to get a result. But listen, that we've got to go in with confidence now. We've got to go in with that we've just got to go for it. There's no point in just kind of think, we'll play our way into games. I'd like to see us just go right for the off. Just take the game by the scruff of the neck and get at them. Because if we can play with a pace and a quality, we're better than them. We're better than them individually. So to do that, you've got to play with pace. You know, move the ball quicker. You could see signs of that on Sunday. That's why we were so poor against County. That's how we were so poor against Dundee. We didn't move the ball quick enough. And when you move the ball quick enough, with the better players that we've got, teams like St Mirren shouldn't be able to handle us.
Right. Would you change the team much, Charlie?
I would put Sterling in midfield. I know I'm crying out for midfield, but obviously, hopefully, Ridvan's back. But I think you need to see Silver in pitches like that. Because you're not going to get great football on these pitches. You need a right dog in the middle of the park who can get round about and get close to other people and then go and let the players play. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but he's great at what he does when he's in the middle of that park. So I would probably just put out the end, I'd put Sterling in the middle of the park, so on the right-hand side on the middle.
How can we break these teams down? Because
high intensity,
done the same as well.
High intensity, quick. See in the final third, they've got to do things a lot quicker. 1 and 2 touch in and around the box.
Diamande made a difference on Sunday as well, though. Diamande was good.
He was good. He was confident.
It was excellent. It was good. But he did things when he broke things up. He done it quick. He was always available. I just think it's when we move the ball quicker, we're better, and we've done that more on Sunday than we have done over the last couple of games. So when you come up against teams that are going to sit in, it's got to be an in or in the box. They change a pace with the ball, with the passing, and it's that 1-2 touch and try and create something. And and listen, with Dezers, where's he got now? 19 goals. We're quite harsh on him at times, and I think sometimes quite rightly so. We'll make a few chances for him. So hopefully,
do you know, I was at a Q&A a few months ago. I can't even remember what player it was, but they were talking about how he would break the team down and how they done it back then. He said we used to just give the ball to Mark Walters, and then that would pull players away from him.
That
would make the gaps.
That was part of. See, when
I don't think players really do that much now.
I try to isolate. See if I was playing with him, or I was playing with Mark Walters when I played with Girani. I try and isolate them 1v1 with the opponent. So that was my job as a midfield player, to get the ball to them. Like if I could suss that they would get a 1v1, I know with the quality of Mark Walters, a Charlie Miller, a Ian Durant, they're going to get past their opponent and they're going to have a dig at goal or a shot at goal.
Matondo done it once on Sunday.
He's made an impact player for me.
First half, remember they ran for practically our end box all the way through, and I'm thinking, shoot, gets to 18 yards out, shoot. But then obviously he's curled 2 in against Hibs and Celtic, and he doesn't want to shoot for that for straight in front of the goal, but he wants to shoot in at the Rangers end in the second half.
Charlie, Stevens saying, who are you dropping in midfield for Sterling?
Well, unfortunately, probably McCausland. I thought actually McCausland did really well. He did really well when he came on. But just for the nastiness, I think he's got a bit of nastiness in him, Sterling, and he loves a tackle. He wins his tackles. It would probably be McCausland, although I want young boys to be playing the team. But I don't think Ridvan's ready yet, is he? So it'll probably be Sterling on the left-hand side.
There's Ready Teddy Bear saying Rangers need favours from Hearts and Kilmarnock to win this league, which is possible, isn't it? Because they've done well against Celtic this year.
Kelly as well. Kelly have been excellent this season against us and Celtic. So you're hoping something's going to give there, but I just hate we shouldn't be in a position that we're looking for favours, but we are.
We need to go and win.
But it shouldn't have been that
again and go and win it back.
Shouldn't have been that way, but it is what it is at the minute. So, but certainly Kelly with Derek McInnes at the helm, top manager.
Right. Would you stick with Balogun and?
Yes.
Aye.
Absolutely. We need that. We need that pace. I think we need the pace of early part. That's how I'm gutted with Sima. The pace, the power he gives you, because it's a great thing to have the option. Sometimes when you're under a wee bit of pressure, you can maybe go a wee bit longer early tap, and that's always defenders hate that. Sometimes when you're wee McCausland's a different type. He likes the body feet and he plays in front of defenders. So that's a blow, not having that pace and power.
Do you know, I was listening to a podcast earlier on and they were talking about the semi-final and how Goldson wasn't there. Obviously, he always thinks he should be starting 11. And they're saying one of the last times that was actually happened, it was Terry Butcher, and he wasn't seen again at the club after that.
Is that right?
Aye. Which is interesting.
I didn't know that. Listen, the manager is, he'd have took him aside. He would have explained to him the reasons why he's took him out of the equation. He wouldn't have used the word drop. Resting him. He needs it. He's played a hell of a lot of football. So he has. And he just needed that wee break. Listen, I've said to you, we're going to need him in this run-in. He might be playing in this final.
When he came back from his injury, he didn't look as fit as he was before his injury. Yeah. And I don't know if we get enough.
What age is Goldson?
31.
Is he?
32.
But you know yourself, Charlie. Once you go the other side of 30, when you get injuries, it's a wee bit harder to recover from.
But this day and age, they look after themselves better than I played anyway, especially better than me. But Goldson looked a fit boy before his injury, and he's looking back the same.
Here's something online, and this is how rumours start, by the way. William Henderson said he heard Goldson get dropped because he lost the plot with Clermont in the dressing room after the Dundee game and probably won't play again. Any truth in this?
Yeah, listen, there'll be things says, in the heat of the moment and all that, but the one thing with Clermont, he's and even the backroom staff, you know that Alex here, we know Alex is in the background as well and all that. Listen, there's nothing wrong with clearing air, with things being said. As long as that's it, you draw a line, You don't hold a grudge. You go on with the next game. That's important. That happens in dressing rooms. So,
but
that for me is healthy, you know, because that shows the guys care. You know, I would hate to get into a dressing room that if you hadn't got the result you desired, and then everybody just sat there, listens to the manager, and goes in, gets a shower, and jumps in the bus. I like when there's maybe a player or two questioning other players, or maybe even question or saying to one of the backroom staff, or the manager, sometimes air your views. It's healthy. It's what happens. Football's a different environment.
I've done that in Norway.
And you were happy.
I said, we need to change something. Honestly, it's the same thing every week. Teams not out plays now, and I was the only one to get drafted. So I thought, I'll never do that again.
But a good manager, that's what I'm saying, they'll know hold a grudge. Because you go away, sometimes in the heat of the moment, you go away and you'll have a wee think to yourself, and you'll go, by the way, he was right. Or else you might go, no, he wasn't right. He wasn't right. And I'll maybe have a wee chat about it when your nose emotional. But it's an emotional game.
I think maybe when you're a player, you can take it two ways. You either take the huff or you come out and try and do better.
That's it. Aye. And the good you go.
As a player, you know when you done well and didn't do well.
Aye.
I don't need somebody to tell me that was us. But as long as I was getting 100%, you know, that's
and you must know
given, you know that. But if you're not like, see if you're having a bad game, you're still getting about the game and still trying to get close to people, then there's not much you can do because everybody's had bad games. You know, it's just as long as you're not letting runners run off you and you're not feeling sorry for yourself and things like that.
And you're not hiding.
No, I still go on the ball and try and create. If I'm not creating the passes, then I still need the ball. I still want the ball. You have to still take it.
Yeah. I hated that. See, when I played with quite a number of clubs. Sometimes I would be playing with players that just they didn't want the ball. You could tell, right, because they didn't want to make a mistake. Well, you're no use.
But see when Derek's saying, and then see if you're 2-0 down, then they would want the ball. And I'm going, that doesn't make anybody sense.
Mm-hmm.
You want the ball to change the game before you get 2-0 down, and then next minute people are like, give the ball. Nothing to lose now.
Here's G Calder is saying, do you think we could have won the league, or do you think we would have won the league in the, I can't even speak. Right. Do you think we would have had the league in the bag if we bought a striker instead of Silva?
Yes.
I think we kind of said that last week.
I think everybody's in agreement with that. But with the funds there, I'm not so sure. I think he says about Miovski. Miovski's a top player, by the way. If you think about the chances that we make, Miovski would be banging in goals. Shankland, for me as well, I just think he's a top player. It's just my opinion. And he knows where the back of the net is.
Right, I'll just do one more shout out online, and it's Huckster saying, my first Old Firm game was 1985 Skull Cup final. Derek, Durante and Coop were different class. Derek was the best player on the pitch that day. I watched that back, and I couldn't believe how he won the game. He was unbelievable that day.
And we had a right good weekend.
That's the one when Durante scored the first and Coop scored the penalty.
Aye.
And I watched a bit. I knew that the other week on my phone, lying in bed. It came up on my phone. I went, I'm going to watch this.
And Durante won a trip on Concord for scoring that goal. Aye. So it took me. We had a trip on Concord.
You've been in Concord?
Yes. Aye.
Where did it take you to?
We get picked up at Glasgow Airport. It was one of them, and then took us away to Norway, and it went down to Edinburgh Airport. Kidded on it was going to land, just took off again, and then back to Glasgow.
You didn't get to stay anywhere?
No,
but waste of time.
We had that.
Bet you still ended up pushed.
By the way, it was delayed for about 4 hours, so you can imagine me and the wee man getting on. And I tell you what, we took a few mementos from that plane. Everything that wasn't nailed down, we took it.
No wonder they had to get rid of the Concord off. Idiots on it.
Brilliant. Right, that's us at the end of the show already.
Well, I'm going to go 2-0 against St Mirren.
Aye.
I'm
scared to do predictions now.
Go on, give us that.
2-0.
1-0 to Rangers, I think it's going to be.
2-0.
Aye, I think that's a fair thing we want for Charlie. 2-0 with Damie. A clean sheet, which is important for confidence, because it'll be tough. But listen, let's go and give it everything. The last 4 or 5 weeks of the season,
5 more games, win 5 games, and we've won the league.
Correct.
So we can do this.
We've got a treble.
Aye, too true. Right, once again, thank you for everybody watching. Make sure you share this on all the various socials, and thanks to our sponsors, DB Dental Care, SSAFA Armed Forces Charity, Park Construction and Plant Hire, and Plugged In Business Solutions. And we'll be back next week at 6 o'clock. See you later.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.